goes to show, if it can happen in Minnesota, it can happen anywhere. This is the United States, and we are all as one people, and we should be treated as all one people. Minnesota is Kansas. Kansas is Minnesota. We're all United States. We're all Americans. We're all here for each other.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is CJ, and this is the ICT Metroist, where we discuss things happening in and around the ICT Metro region. But before we get into the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel for future content about history, economics, and politics of this region. So let me give you some context. About 6 to 7 months ago, I made a video on the No Kings protest in downtown Wichita, which, by the way, you can go watch here. The video was about the local chapter of the national protests happening against the Trump administration, and more specifically, ICE. Well, in the last half year, not much has changed, and it looks like the temperature in our national politics has continually heated up. I mean, you had the shooting of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk and his transgender resurrection into Erica Kirk. The kidnapping of Venezuela dictator and President Nicolas Maduro. We had the longest government shutdown in U.S. history in the last 6 months. And really, those are just three of amongst many, many other things that happened in 2025 that, frankly, a lot of people got lost in the sauce with. So despite all this chaos, these weren't even the main events that led up to the current protests that are happening today that this video is about. Now, let me back up and give you the main timeline of events that led to this specific protest that I'm going to be documenting here in Wichita. Starting in early December, the Trump administration sends multiple hordes of ICE agents to Minneapolis. On December 16th, a 20-something dimwit films himself terrorizing a Somali-led daycare, suggesting that specifically they had been committing wide-scale fraud. On December 26th, said dimwit posts the video to social media, where the video goes viral, garnering over hundreds of millions of views on Twitter, Facebook, and other social media sites. December 30th, without any other evidence, the Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, halts all child care payments to the whole state. January 6th, Department of Homeland Security, DHS, launches its largest operation in its history, going after immigrants in Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. The large-scale, unnecessary presence of federal agents leads to mass protests everywhere in the cities. The next morning, on January 7th, Renee Nicole Good was murdered by an ICE agent shooting her multiple times, causing her to crash her car and bleed out to death. The murder was filmed and shared across social media, where reports have recently come out in the last week that ICE agents didn't allow medics onto the scene until it was too late. Since then, the amount of unrest, protesting, and disdain for the administration hasn't been this bad since the high points during the 2020 George Floyd protests, where his murder only occurred about 2 miles away from Renee Nicole Good's murder. The nationwide protests have local chapters of pro-democratic groups that are in charge of manning and planning all of these protests nationwide. And in the Wichita area specifically, there is the Defend Democracy ICT group, which helps organize the local protests you'll see downtown, in Delano, and at the corner of 21st and Rock. You can check out their website or social media for more information. The links are in the description below. The major protest they advertised for today was the Wichita Walk Out for a Free America, to coincide with the anti-ICE protests found throughout the nation. They were located at the corner of Douglas and Broadway and occurred on Saturday, January 17th, 2026, exactly 10 days after the killing of Renee Nicole Good. So the last protest video I made, I went out and took some photos of the protesters and basically made a collage video. This time, I'm actually going to go out on the street and interview people to get what they are specifically protesting for.
Well, we are out here on the street. We are freezing our buttockuses off right now. And as you can see, there are people who are protesting the Trump administration and ICE right now, especially after the killing of Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis. We're going to go on the street and see if we can get some interviews here, see if we can get some people to talk with us here and there. All right, hello. We're here protesting.
With Ryan, you're protesting.
Hello. So what are you specifically protesting for today?
We're protesting against all of the abuse that is being brought upon us as American citizens. This is not right. We have rights, and we're here to show it. We're here to flex our First Amendment and all of the rest. So that is why we're here to support.
First 4 years, he ran up a deficit 1/4 of all the previous presidents before him.
Right.
And now he's going to run up another $5 trillion. And the deficit, it is going to come to hurt us. It's
Right.
going to hurt future generations. He says, shoot people in the face. Well, finally, one of his goons does shoot someone in the face, and he's happy about it.
Right.
And now in Minnesota, these these ICE goons, they're like telling people, don't make the same mistake Gooding made. You know, they're
Right.
trying to threaten. That's how dictators operate.
One thing that also had happened just now was a large truck had turned the corner and threw their entire cup of ice basically right down on the street towards the protesters, as you can see down there. Very much not nice of them to do that. Do you think what's happening in specifically Minnesota, what has happened to Renee Nicole Good, do you think that can happen here in Wichita?
I think it can happen anywhere. It goes to show if it can happen in Minnesota, it can happen anywhere. This is the United States, and we are all as one people, and we should be treated as all one people. Minnesota is Kansas. Kansas is Minnesota. We're all United States. We're all Americans. We're all here for each other.
Minnesota's really interesting in the fact that there's probably about only 1% of the people that they claim they're going after is in Minnesota, and they've got like 50% of their forces in Minnesota. No, it's to terrorize the Democrats.
Right.
And this Trump is it's all about selfish and those that have something. And I'm going to continue because life's been beautiful for me in America, and I don't like what Trump's doing. This business of he's going to militarily take Greenland against our own NATO allies.
Right. Hey, what was your name again?
El Jefe El Woof Woof.
Well, nice to meet you, El Jefe, El Woof Woof.
Yeah, no, and I do that because my 3 best friends are Trump supporters. That's hard to believe. One of them I named Yip Yip Cluck Cluck All Bark No Bite, and with a name like Heavy El Woof Woof, it gives me an advantage when I'm fighting with them.
There you go. Well, thank you so much. And that's been what the local Wichitans have been saying about ICE, the Trump administration, and national politics going on around. If you're not out here protesting, what are you out there doing? That was kind of a stupid intro to outro or whatever. I'll keep it. It'll be funny. Screw it. Who cares?